I'll tell it to wake up.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's the weekend. Ooh, something's wrong with Apple News.
What's wrong with it?
I just get the spinny ball of death.
Oh no.
Oh, there it started working.
Okay.
So, how was your week?
Long and hot.
All right,
You know, besides that, it's all good.
that's cool. You know, it's weird how. Wait, did you guys have last Monday off?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, I had it off.
yeah, you had it off. No, it's just weird how. I'd say you would have had it off anyway because you have your new schedule.
Yeah.
Um, no, this week because it was a 4 day week, just felt like it dragged on. And of course, this weekend feels like it's already moving by too fast. Time, man,
Time, man.
it just travels weird.
It's like linear or something.
It's like linear, but it speeds up and slows down at its own pace. I don't like it. I'd rather have the times that I feel. I was going to say joyous, but that's probably not the right word. Happier, I guess. Last longer than the times that you don't feel as happy.
As happy.
As happy.
Happy, happy, happy.
Joy, joy, joy.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right?
It's long.
It's long. God.
I had this weird conversation with Matt the other day
Mm-hmm.
where I don't think he understands it as much as you would, because
Okay.
I don't think he's ever seen Ren and Stimpy, the way he reacted. But I said if I ever won like a ridiculous amount of money, I would like to recreate all those Ren and Stimpy commercials in real life, but sell the product.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch all of them again, and but I like
Yeah.
that. That would be like an aspiration I'd want to do.
Because the only ones that really stick out for me, log,
Yeah,
uh, and then cinnamon toast,
Crunch Man.
crunch man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want
And
to
there's something
sell.
about a horse. Was there a horse one as
Yeah.
well? And that's all I remember. Yeah. I bet if you went on YouTube, there's just compilations of.
Yeah, there's a. I just looked it up right now. There's a commercial collection which is 7 minutes long, so you know that shit's got to be funny because, you know, yikes.
Right.
Let's see if there's a list of these. There's log. You got the log song too, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. I
What
wonder how
else?
easy it would just be to buy the rights to this stuff.
It's a great question.
Because somebody obviously owns the rights. I doubt that it's the original creators. It's probably Nickelodeon.
Probably. Let's see. Blammo is the company that makes a bunch of this stuff. Let's see. And there, Blammo is a parody of the real life toy manufacturer Whammo. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
See, does this shitty Wikipedia or fandom site actually list everything?
It has to. It's a fandom site.
Well, so far it's failing at being that.
Oh,
Wow, really?
just not loading?
No, it just doesn't have much on there.
Oh, that's dumb. Not much of a fan site.
Dog water. Trying to see if there's a. No, that's gonna give me actual commercials for Ren and Stimpy. I'll have to look it up later. I guess I can't find. I mean, I could watch this, I guess, on like no volume
Right.
and narrate it. No, That's actual commercials. Yeah, that's funny. They just advertised the Game Boy game.
Nice. That's what I was wondering if I would get just typing in Ren and Stimpy commercials, if it would actually just give me the commercials for Ren and Stimpy and not the actual in-universe commercials. I see a lot of log here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the more popular ones.
Yeah.
That is that, I suppose.
It's true. I know there's a bunch because I used to watch that show. I just can't remember all of them right now.
Yeah, right. So have you been playing Destiny? Oh, well, you have been playing Destiny. How you liking it? I hear that it's the new and final season for Destiny.
Yeah, so I jumped. I haven't played since Starfield came out, and I haven't played Starfield for like a few months now. Ever since I beat everything in the game, but there's a few things I have some FOMO about. So fear of missing out.
FOMO for what has been released, or
what
has
been released?
What,
yeah, past FOMO, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that would actually be called. It's not FOMO because that's fear of missing out.
The fear that you have already missed out.
Yeah, it's just regret at this point. But during the the Guardian games, they introduced a new type of vehicle, which is a hoverboard.
Okay.
And there's only two ways to get it. There's two different ones you can get. There's one you can buy with real money, which I will never do.
Not going to.
And then the one you can get from the Guardian games, which I did not play because I was not playing at the time. So I don't have either of those, and I keep seeing people ride them. And the thing about them is, it looks cool because it's like Silver Surfer style. It's like long, and you can ride on it, but you can do tricks.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can like do like you jump with it, which is awesome because you can go over obstacles. But you can also like grind in the air.
Okay.
And when you do that, you can actually fly.
Oh,
so you jump off something, and then you grind in the air, and you literally just...
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was like...
So, but you can't get it anymore.
No, because it was only during the event. So you have to buy... Then the other way to get it is to buy the one that's in the store. And I was like, I hate it so much.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I was curious about... You're playing it. I didn't know about that, but I was watching a video yesterday or the day before or something like that was talking about Destiny and how they basically sunset everything from the beginning of Destiny 2 up to a certain point.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were new to Destiny, which was, they were going over the story so far as well, because obviously what's coming up or has already just been released. I don't remember what.
This coming Tuesday.
Is the final piece of Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like, there's no way for a new beginner to pick up the base game of Destiny 2 and play all the story leading up to this. So basically they're missing everything from the beginning up to a certain point, and you're basically starting at a point where... And then they went into what the story is so far. And I was like, good God, even if I try to jump into this, I missed so much story that I would have no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Why are you taking away this story? Like, what is the reasoning behind the fact that I couldn't just play through the content?
So this is the problem.
Like, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
They turned a base game into a free to play service based game, and they drug it out for so long because it has been 7 years for just Destiny 2.
God damn, it's been 7 years.
Yeah, so it came out in 2017. It is now 2024. So if we do the math real quick, 7 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And because of that, the game would be too large with all that content in it to be able to fit on console as well as just a PC, because that'd be a lot of shit. So they built into the story the fact that things are getting sunsetted because the events have changed. So planets have disappeared that were locations from the base game. Like Io no longer exists. So little things like that. And then they also did it with weapons and armor and things like that because they want to keep adding stuff to want you to keep getting those things. But they would have to leave in all those guns or armor. Then you'd have to be able to upgrade those. And they're like, nah, we're going to just... You can't get those anymore. Now, one thing they are doing with the coming of the final shape, which is the title of the last part of the Light and Darkness saga, as they call it, they are unsunsetting weapon and gear. So if you still have them in your vault, which I only have like 2 things, one gun I just never wanted to get rid of because I was like, eventually they're going to unsunset this run, I can use it.
Like, I was having so much fun with this thing until they forced me not to be able to have fun with it.
Yeah, because I was able to use it for a while after, but then once it got to the power cap of not being able to upgrade, I couldn't use it anymore because it was like useless.
Yeah, you had to go with something else.
Yeah. And I've yet to find a gun that I enjoy as much as that one. I've found a few that are pretty close, but nothing like the Misfit. The name, obviously.
Misfits, yeah.
But also the fact that it is essentially an assault rifle that shoots the speed of a submachine gun.
SMG.
Like a high-end submachine gun. Like, it's ridiculous. So they are unsunsetting those, which means they are not bringing them back so you can't get them again. But and they're not redoing them with new perks. They're just letting you use them again, so they're going to unlock the power cap on them. So you can upgrade them and use them if you want to. So they just won't have a lot of the newer perks that are available in the game that are kind of like around your meta build. Yeah, so that's the only shitty thing about it. But because I do have one gripe that still bothers me about Destiny, but it's the fact that like with the perk pools and like the artifact every season or now episode, they essentially make you have to find new guns and new builds because they'll add in things like incandescent, which is a gun perk you can get that is as you kill or do damage to a bad guy, for example, it adds solar damage to him, and if when it stacks, it's called Scorch. When it hits a certain point, they ignite, and if they're a smaller, weaker enemy, they blow up, causing Scorch to be spread around enemies around them. Heavier targets will do the same thing, so it actually can clear ads around a boss, for example, and it will then continue on. So you can get things like that, and there's perks that add, like, it'll help that spread get bigger through the artifact mod that changes every season, so every basic quarter of a year. And they have like things like that, and then there's like perks like armor pieces or armor mods you can add, blah blah blah, right? So like every episode, as they're called now, not seasons, because they're never really been a season. It's like saying the seasons of the year, like fall, winter, summer, right? That's how their seasons flow because there's 4 a year, and they usually coincide with like a new expansion of something happening there. Which Destiny has a very long track record of hit miss every single time. And it hasn't been like this year or this past year is the reason I stopped playing, is because every time they release a new season, instead of adding new story missions, they're adding new events you play that are just like you really need a fire team to play.
And yeah,
I don't really have friends who play it.
Right.
When I do, like, they play at 4 a.m. in the morning because they're fucking sociopaths. So it's like a lot of that content's hard to play. And they introduced a new system called LFG, or Light Finding Guide. Is that what it's called? Whatever. It's basically a way to find fire teams, like people to play content with. So you go on, you pick the content you want to play, what you're doing, and it's a very elaborate system. And I haven't really used it yet because I don't like playing with randos as much. But if like I'm trying to focus on something, I really need to. But they released a thing kind of randomized here, but they basically like goes back to my point of what makes me mad. So they released a free to play thing called Into the Light, which is basically a way to bring back people who've kind of fallen off of it, bring them back before the final shape to try to bring them. Hey, like it worked for me.
Bring them up to the story.
Yeah, bring them up to the story, but bring them also like just like kind of help them get ready to play the final shape. And it's free for everyone within that time frame. You might have seen the text messages I sent to Taj. They also released free to play the past 3 expansions. So you could play them for free, story missions and all, because those are the ones that are not sunsetted. That's where it started. So to that video you're talking about, that's where it would start, would be those 3 free ones. That's the last 3 years worth of stuff. And within that, you can then also get a lot of stuff that you missed out on that. But in the part of it, Into the Light, is they brought back these certain weapons that are kind of fan favorites, but like ones that people wanted that have been sunset already. And they brought them back, and they basically said, hey, if you play this new game mode it's a horde mode called Onslaught, you can unlock these weapons, and you can continue to get the different roles to try to find that god roll. But there's also these curated roles that have a special skin on them that'll basically be like a, hey, I was there and I played it type thing, right? The problem is none of those really have a god roll. So they're curated, but they're not like what everyone wants to use for the meta in either PvE or PvP, which was hilarious to me because obviously they didn't listen to the fans that much. They're like, well, this is what we would do. I'm like, yeah, but that isn't good. Like, that's like an all-around good content that'll be good in almost everything, but not as good as like Grandmaster, like the highest level difficulty. They're not really for that. They're just good combinations of stuff, right? Whatever, right? And then you don't ever unlock that skin for those weapons. It's only on that one you get dropped with it. So then you have to unlock them, and then you have to grind that mode and play the game to get these currency used to open a chest to randomize another version of that weapon, and you can get a version of it that could be a potential god roll with that skin on it. But it's not like a certain thing. So what you can do is they have this place you go to, which is a new thing in the tower, which actually has a really funny thing I'll get to in a minute of what makes me love Destiny in certain ways. But it's called the Hall of Champions. And in it, Shax, the guy who runs the PvP in the game, is there, and he's instructing you how to an onslaught. An onslaught is this thing they built in the story where the witness is targeting certain areas on around the last city, and is putting forces there to try to breach the city, which is ridiculous because witness could just literally do it and it wouldn't really take anything except for the fact that there's like, hundreds of thousands of guardians who are literally just immortal gods at this point, that could definitely withstand anything they throw at them. Hence the reason we're winning, and also losing. But that's a whole different story thing. So in this mode, there's 2 ways to play it. There's the regular one, which is match made, and then there's the other one, which is regular onslaught, and that one goes up to 50 waves. But the match made one is only up to wave 10. So you have to have a fire team to play the one that goes up to 50 waves, because it's only cooperative, not match made. So you either have to use LFG to do it or have friends to do it. So they did a few things. Like I said, they're trying to bring people back, but also have new people come in that like, hey, I want to check this Destiny thing out as it ends, right?
Right.
So within it, there is a box that the game doesn't, as far as I know, didn't tell me about. I found out because of a video from someone who made it. And in that box is a free exotic gun, which is the Thunderlord, which is a dope-ass, super fucking cool heavy machine gun. Potentially an exotic armor piece, I think. Even though I don't think I got one out of it, but that's what I read. And then it comes with a full set of completely power leveled armor for whatever class you open. And you can open if you have 3 different characters, they can all open it.
Okay.
And then within the Hall of Champions are there's a warlock, a hunter, and a titan pad, and on those pads are 5 chests that you periodically open as you level up through Onslaught on Shaxx, because he's a vendor at that point. And each one of those has a different item for your class at that point. So there's a set for the warlocks, the hunters, and the titans, and it has 1 helmet, 1 chest piece in there, and there's a certain armor that's basically like a reprised armor from back in the day. So they're like basically updated versions. So as you progress through, you can unlock those, and they basically, it's like every event always has like a set of armor that you can unlock that once you have all of them makes an outfit, right? Whatever, right? But then the penultimate thing about this is around this in the Hall of Champions are these totems, and each totem is one of the is like a homage to that weapon. Those brought back curated weapons, and you can use that to atone or tune for that particular weapon. So if you want to grind for a mountaintop, which is a breech loading grenade launcher, that's pretty dope because it's kinetic, so it doesn't really have like, it's not solar or void or whatever, right? It's just basically, but it has certain perks you can get. And the one you get through the curated one is not bad, but it's not the one everyone wants. So you can atone or tune, I don't remember what the term is they use for it, to get a better, like more, potentially you can get that dropped more often. So if you're grinding for that weapon, you tune your tone or tune or whatever it is to that totem, and then as you play through the game, you have a higher drop rate of that particular weapon.
Okay.
So there's like that, but then obviously you're not getting drops of other things because you're doing that, whatever, right? No big deal. But you can only do one of those at a time.
Makes sense though.
So at one point I didn't realize I had done the one, and I was like, why am I getting so many of this fucking gun? Like, this is, I've unlocked all of them. What the fuck? And then I realized I never turned that statue off. So dumb, whatever, right? But then the ultimate thing of like, hey, we want you back for this limited time. It's all free. Come play this new thing we have, which arguably is actually really, really fun.
Okay.
I've yet to be able to do the up to 50 because I don't have any friends. So I played the Wave 10 version several times, enough to max out Shaxx and get all the stuff. But once you do that and you unlock all the shiny weapons from his little robot buddy, with those, the way you do it is you just have to play the game with that style of weapon. So for the pulse rifle, you have to get pulse rifle kills, and it has to be like precision damage, and you get more credit if you do it in Onslaught versus just the regular game, but you can play the regular game with it too, which is a nice change. You don't have to do Crucible, you don't have to do all that stuff, right? But if you do those, you get more credit towards it. Once you unlock them, you get the shiny weapon. You can throw it in your vault if you want, because there's no other thing, you can't display them anywhere, because that would make sense. And then once you have those, you unlock 1/2 of a key. Then once you level Shaxx all the way up to max out at level 17, you unlock the other half of the key, and that key unlocks a reprised shader, which is the all black shader.
Okay. So
you can run around goth style in all black. It's called Super Black, and it's dope because I have it on everything now. And it truly is like pretty much all black, except for like if your armor or something has an accent of a light, that stays on, so like it looks cool. But then there's certain armor you can get that's just like flat black. Especially if you go back to like old armor sets that don't have any of the shiny stuff on them, and they just never updated them, so like they don't have anything fancy. It is just all black. So there's that. And the thing I liked about it is the fact that it's free, obviously, right? And they're bringing back some of these dope weapons like the Blast Furnace and the Mountaintop and Luna's Howl and all these different ones. And they brought back one of my favorite exotic pulse rifles, which is the Stranger's Rifle, which is a character in the game that you meet later on whose name is actually Elsa. Doesn't matter. Well, it does because they reprised the gun, but instead of making it exotic, they made it a legendary. So it doesn't have the exotic perk, which is pretty cool, which is just basically like as soon as you get so many kills, you get this little orb that pops up by the gun that's like this little time rip, and it basically reshoots your bullets that you shoot back at the same enemy. So you shoot twice as many bullets, which is fucking cool. But when they brought it back as legendary, they didn't have that, so they did build in a thing called Rewound Winds, which is a new perk you can get on guns, which with so many consecutive hits, it'll actually put bullets back in the gun.
Nice. Like
actually in the magazine, because with the new one of the many updates they did many years ago now, many seasons ago I should say, is kinetic weapons all have not kinetic weapons, because that's not a term anymore. Special weapons and heavy weapons, ones that used to drop white bricks for ammo back in the day when you played, they're unlimited now, so you never run out of bullets.
Oh, okay.
And those type of guns only go in your primary slot and your secondary slot. It's usually assault rifles, submachine guns, things like that. Stuff like shotguns, grenade launchers, glaives, pulse rifles, or not pulse, linear fusion rifles. Those all still use special ammo, so the green bricks. And then there's heavy ammo, which is like your grenade launchers, your swords, heavy machine guns, rocket launchers. Those things still use those. Right. But yeah, so you can literally have a build other than special that has unlimited ammo. You never run out, but they're nothing that's gonna pack a real heavy punch. So they save, like, obviously PvP. You can't just go in with an unlimited ammo for a shotgun, because that would break the game, because everyone would run around with double shotguns and just fucking ruin everyone's life.
Right.
Because you could have like 8 bullets in one and 8 bullets in another, and 16 shots, and you run up on someone and boom, boom, double tap, and they're pretty much dead. So you always limit, obviously, like the special ammo for that, but whatever. So you go through that, and it has those awesome guns, and if you really wanted, like, try to find a god roll version of them, you can. Get a fucking, slide shot fucking holstered gun or whatever if you want. So when you slide it, reload your gun, or if you have it holstered for a long enough time, it reloads itself. So when it comes to, like, grenade launchers, for example, like the Mountaintop, you could get it where there's a perk where you can do overload and holstered, for example. So if you, not overload, it's got a different name in this one, but basically if you shoot the gun, right, shoot the grenade launcher, you kill some stuff, and it packs a wallop, dude. It can that thing is, because essentially it's a direct shot. Like, if you hit someone, like, they're pretty much going to die. If they're like a gold bar or something, they definitely know you're there. They're like, oh shit, that guy just took off 7 of my 9 lives. I don't feel good right now. And that does it to, like, bosses and stuff too. Like, it's pretty fucking gnarly. But with that combination, for example, one of the perks is if you pick up special or heavy ammo, it's called Lead from Gold is what I think it's called. It will automatically put 2 rounds in what would have normally been a 1 round grenade launcher.
Okay.
But you can when you holster it, after a certain amount of seconds, it reloads itself automatically. So you could pull it out, shoot somebody, run in, shoot with your secondary gun, be it an assault rifle or hand cannon or whatever it happens to be. You hear, and all of a sudden that's reloaded, and then you can pull it back out and you can shoot it again. And in that meantime, if you pick up a more ammo for it, or heavy ammo, it automatically puts 2 in the chamber and reloads it.
Okay.
So you could be running around killing trash mobs, for example, in like PvE, and it would reload itself enough time by the time you kill enough things. Even if they don't drop ammo, it's already, unless you're, out of ammo. But it will, it gets ammo too. So if you pick up a purple, you get green. If you pick up green, it doubles what goes in the chamber, so it puts 2 in.
Okay.
You can also get that on certain rocket launchers, which is bonkers.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so you can kind of like, and if you use certain armor mods, you can essentially get unlimited green and purple ammo. Because you could literally just keep going, like as you kill, you'll spawn those extra ammos. When you pick them up, they overfill the magazine and give you ammo for the other gun. Yeah, so little things like that. So like, there's always like this balance of like, whatever, you have to pray to RNGesus to hopefully get you what you need, which he hates me, so I don't ever really get it. And no matter how many effigies I fucking burn to him or sacrifices, doesn't matter. I don't ever really get that much stuff, or that good of stuff, like the god rolls, whatever. And then I don't play enough of the higher content because, again, I don't have any friends. And then because you can't play the higher content, you can't get those better things. And then they introduced crafting a couple seasons back, which is great, except for you have to get those guns to be able to craft them. And originally, it pissed everyone off because you had to get 5 versions of it and then play with that gun to unlock the pattern. But the thing is, to get those guns, you have to play certain content. But if you want to play that content, you need those better guns. So you're like, you either have to play and not beat it, which is demoralizing, and hopefully you get to a point where you get drops from a bad guy or a chest. So there's people will farm. They'll play through the content, get to a certain save point, and just farm that save point because they know they can get to either a hidden chest or a chest at the end of that event or that section of it, and then just do that over and over and over and over again and try to get those drops, which is ridiculous because you're not really playing the game; you're just fucking scamming. But who am I to tell you how to enjoy your time?
Right.
But then, classic Bungie, all the meta guns, air quotes for people who can't see the video, that we don't record and put on the internet for you to see, so the opportunity is not there for you to see it, is most of those meta guns are in that higher content. So they're in the raids, they're in the dungeons, they're in the Grandmaster Nightfalls, where you need a good fire team with good weapons and good builds that are like, gonna synergize together to make that content easier to do, to get those drops, to get those red border weapons so you can craft those. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. But then that's the whole thing. Is like, oh, we have these cool guns over in this content, right?
Right.
It's like the whole Dark Zone thing in Division. There's like certain guns that are in the Dark Zone that they feel are good for Dark Zone, but they're just dope guns.
Right.
And I want it, but the only way to get it is to play content I don't enjoy playing.
Right.
Like, I just want to run around with my friends and have fun killing things, not run in, do all this hard work, and then get fucking ass raped
at the last second.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. And it's like, that's the kind of bullshit that it still happens in the game. And then the other things too is like, exotic weapons can get a thing called a catalyst, and a catalyst adds perks, and a lot of them are tied to having to play PvE or PvP to unlock it. So you use the gun to unlock to basically build the data needed to make the catalyst. Then using the gun in content like Vanguard Strikes and Crucible and Gambit to unlock the data of the gun, but also get kills of Guardians with it. Now, they changed it where you can get Guardian kills with that type of weapon, not that particular weapon, and it unlocks progress. I don't play anything that you face Guardians in because I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I can't unlock most of the catalysts for these weapons because I don't play those games. They don't give you the option to do grind something else. You have to go then play PvP, which I don't want to.
Right.
And I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
You're not rewarding anybody other than the people who are sadistic and want to play it. I mean, there are people who like PvP, don't get me wrong, enjoy it, have fun. I don't.
Right.
So
I remember playing it here and there back when I played Destiny, but
yeah, and it's like I want these cool things that you want that I can get, but you're forcing me into playing content I don't want to play, or putting it in content that I can't play because I don't have friends, and then you made a system like LFG, which, don't get me wrong, awesome addition to the game, way too late if you ask me, but the problem with that is you're going to gather people who also want to do that content that don't have friends that can't do the content.
yeah.
You know, you always need that like shepherd friend that like is a hardcore player or something like that. And there's, if you go on Discord and on the internet, you can find these dudes that will shepherd you through these games or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's like LFG is a great step forward for like, but your shit should be matchmaked all the time. It shouldn't have to take a system of me waiting for, hopefully, because that's the thing with LFG I didn't mention. You pick the content you want to play, and hopefully someone else who wants to play that content is also on LFG trying to find somebody.
Yeah.
So it's also sort of like RNG in a way of someone wanting to do this raid or this dungeon at the same time, wanting to do what you want to do, not just, oh, I want to farm this one checkpoint. Or I want to, you know, whatever. It's like I want to play, like I want to do the raids, I want to do the dungeons. So why don't you let me matchmake just from the main menu, not have to sit and fucking wait for LFG to find somebody? Because you don't play the game, you have to sit in the fucking menu and wait for hopefully someone to come through and pick the exact things you're wanting to do.
Yeah, so you're just sitting there in the menu doing nothing, where you'd rather just be playing something and wait for somebody else to come along. Yeah,
or,
that makes sense.
Or say, I don't know, build LFG, right, or whatever it is, matchmake, into every content. So when you select, I want to try this raid, right? I want to play this raid. I don't have a fire team of 6, and I definitely cannot fucking do this by myself.
Does it really require a fire team of 6? So it's 2 fire teams, right?
Yeah, so raids are always 6 fire teams. Everything else
right.
are 6
It's
players.
always been like that, hasn't it? I forgot about that.
Raids are always 6. Every other content is 3. Well, except for special events like
getting back into the whole thing where I forgot that their fire team system was a 3-base thing instead of 4, which never made sense to me.
So dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I have this friend that plays. We hopefully can find a random third. Not like, hey, I have a friend who plays. He has a friend who plays, and he has a friend who plays. That's 4. But also, like, you and I are running around. We could run into another group of 2. Because Destiny's more fun with friends. But if you don't have friends to play, you're fucked. Because you're by yourself and you can't actually do much. So I'll play Strikes, but the thing I hate about Strikes is I run into 2 randos that all they want to do is try to race through it to try to get to the end because they're just grinding something out. And now I'm like, oh, cool, I can't enjoy myself because these fuckwits are just running ahead trying to get through things without actually enjoying what they're doing.
That was the thing that I remember most about, because I think when I started, we had, 3 of the 4 of us able to play like at any given time, so we were always playing with us. And then as slowly people dropped off, it was left with just me and you. And I remember the number of times it would just load into a strike, and you would just see the third rando person just like boom off into the distance, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And you just run into his dead body.
Yeah, and it's like, dude,
as you're passing through, and it's just like, cool. I'm glad you just decided to rush ahead, just kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just, dude, it's mind numbing. But like, this is my solve. It's simple. I say it's simple. I don't know how to make this work, but you have LFG, so you can probably do it. Matchmaking, right? So, as a solo player, I go in and I play a strike. I select it. It's always match made, unless I do legendary, and then it's not, because that makes sense. Higher content needs other people. Higher content, you have to find those other people by yourself. So we invented LFG. Or, when you select the content you want, you should be able to matchmake no matter what. Yes, I understand raids need a higher IQ of play count of player base because there's puzzles and there's things you have to do, right? But how do you learn those things?
By doing it.
Okay. If you don't have 5 other people to play it with, you have to play it by yourself, which makes it borderline impossible for a normal everyday person to do it because you get overwhelmed. You can't do enough damage to things. You can't strategize because now every bad guy is coming after you. They're not spreading the focus on anybody. There's not have to stand on this plate to activate this to be able to do damage to this thing, but I'm also getting attacked by waves of fucking trash mobs, so I can't even focus on what I'm doing. So I can't do it. But if I had a fire team, which is what it's designed to be played with, I can't matchmake that.
Yeah.
You should be able to click on that and be like, hey, I want to matchmake to play this content. And I know going into that, I'm going to get thrown into it with other people who are like me, who may only have one other friend who's playing with them. And so that's what's going to happen, right? I should know I'm not going to get world's first or like a record fucking score with 5 randos.
Yeah.
But I can enjoy all of the game and not get locked out of being able to play raids without having to get on a Discord or Google search randos on the internet to try to find people who want to fucking shepherd my ass through this. So I use LFG. Great. Now if I want to play a raid that's not on the rotation for having the better weapon drops because I'm trying to complete a triumph for something or unlock certain guns that I want, I have to use LFG and sit in a fucking menu and wait for some other idiots to come along that also want to do this, and hopefully they're not there just to run a certain checkpoint. Because what will happen, and this has happened to me before when I use the internet to find these idiots, is you get to a point, they're just trying to get to a certain checkpoint, then they drop out.
Why?
Because their checkpoint stays. So they can load back into the raid into that checkpoint, and they have a farmable checkpoint they can keep using. And now they don't need to go back in with anybody. Because within checkpoints of raids, if you stop at one, you can go back to that checkpoint. You can load your checkpoint back up.
Okay.
But guess what? There's no matchmaking in raids, so nobody fills that hole. So now you only have 5. Then you get another checkpoint someone wants to go to, they drop out. Or maybe they take a friend with them, then you drop down to 3. Then you can't finish the raid easily, or well, because you have 3 people in an event that needs 6.
That's a weird system. I would have thought that if you drop out, you just drop out and you'd have to start over again. But the fact that you can just load back into a previous checkpoint and then just farm whatever's at that checkpoint.
Yeah. So if there's a certain gun that drops at a certain checkpoint because of a boss or a chest, you can literally just keep doing that checkpoint every single time until you get the drop you want or the roll you want of that drop.
Like, I guess on the one hand, I see it as something that they think is helping people, because if you just want that, like you said, if you just want that one thing, then you have the opportunity to just do it and not have to spend 15, 30 minutes to an hour trying to get back to that checkpoint. But at the same time, it just causes this problem.
Yeah.
Which I can see is much worse than actually what you're trying to solve.
Yeah, and an LFG doesn't solve that because you find someone, they need to get to a certain checkpoint. Now you're playing it with these randos, and all of a sudden, rando 4 is gone.
Yeah.
And because it's not match made, someone doesn't drop in.
Yeah.
Because in a match made event, if someone leaves,
they have the opportunity to get somebody back.
Someone will drop in because someone else wants to play. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've loaded up a strike, and all of a sudden, like, I'm in orbit by myself, and then I jump in. I'm like, well, that's weird. I must be joining people, and I'm in the midst of a fight in the middle of a strike. Or the shitty version, you fucking end up you get LFG, or you get fucking match made into the boss fight of a fucking thing, and the boss has a sliver of health, and all of a sudden you have 3 kills under your belt, and these two fucking yahoos made you look like a fucking schmuck because they have 400 kills each, and then you get the chest at the end, but you also don't get all the loot you could have got throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to get kills on a gun for unlocking certain things, you're not getting it because guess what? You didn't kill anything.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that as a weird win because if you drop in, you got the chest at the end, so you have the opportunity to get something good.
Yeah, well,
if you're trying to, you guys said opportunity.
Yeah.
Said opportunity.
So one thing
we all know that Destiny kind of sucks at that, or at least in the past. Maybe it's
it's not better.
Okay,
it's
fair enough.
It's fucking terrible. I literally one time last week or weekend before, whatever it was. All days are melting together. I was running around solo because Taj wasn't on, per usual, and I did 3 heroic public events by myself. What do you think I got out of those 3 chests?
I would hope that you got at least one purple item.
If you guessed I only got experience, you'd be correct.
Okay.
Because my glimmers maxed out.
My actual guess would have at least been a couple of blues, because that's at least it feels like what Destiny was heading towards.
So that is the thing, Joe. Blues, once you get to the soft level cap, don't exist.
I mean, that's good.
They automatically turn into glimmer because that's what they do when you just dismantle them. They turn into glimmer, right? Yeah. Except for the fact if you play this game enough, your glimmer is maxed out all the time.
Yeah, because there's not much you want to spend things on.
This point. Other than it's just bounties, right? So with the final shape, they are changing it. Glimmer's getting a little more important because you need that to upgrade items or whatever, right? Doesn't matter because they're kind of narrowing down some of the fucking ridiculous currencies you need to do things. So like glimmer is very important, right? But glimmer's so fucking easy to get because there's a mod on your ghost where you can increase how much glimmer you get. Mm-hmm. But there's also like glimmer comes from fucking everything. If you're running out of glimmer, you're not playing the game.
Yeah.
I just don't understand people like, oh, I'm out of glimmer, I have to do this. I'm like, how the fuck are you out of glimmer?
Right, you're just tripping over it all, by playing the game.
Go run on any area, public area, for 10, 15 minutes. I guarantee you're going to have enough glimmer to do whatever you fucking need to beg glimmer for. Mm-hmm. Like, also, I don't even know how you don't just get it from playing, other than if you're just PvP, PvP.
Which is true, yeah.
But also, like, if you're only PvP, you should have good enough stuff to go into and fucking run a dungeon by yourself.
Yeah.
And just by, not even if you don't fucking finish the dungeon, you kill 500 enemies, you're gonna have glimmer. I don't understand that. Like, that's whatever, right? So yeah, I did this, and I was like, when I was playing with Taj, we get done with the public event, heroic public event, and I was like, hey, what'd you get? He's like, I got glimmer and experience. And I'm like, yeah, that glimmer technically would have been a blue.
Yeah.
But because my glimmer is maxed out almost all the time, and the other thing too is, in the season pass, which is now, I think, called episode pass, whatever, right? So it's the things you unlock as you progress through the game. As you just play and you gain experience, you go up from 1 to 100. And within that, there's a free track and there's a paid track. So if you pay for that, you get the extra stuff, which is just cosmetics and stuff. It's not like you unlock fucking god-killing gun or whatever, right? You just get skins and fucking armor at your level, which is also a shitty thing to do to somebody who's trying to level up. You're like, hey, here's this new armor piece for the season. By the way, it's at or below the level you're currently at, so it doesn't help you anything unless it has good stats, which is RNG, so go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's fun. So we're going around, and we do this. We do a fucking strike, right? I was like, hey, what'd you get? He's like, a low-level piece of fucking purple armor, legendary armor, and that's it. And I was like, but you got experience, both real world and in game. And that experience you get in real world is Bungie doesn't give a fuck about you grinding this game unless you do high-end content. Which brings me back to my point is, guess what you need to do to get high-end content done? Play high-end content.
Yeah.
Which you can't do if you don't have better stuff. But how do you get better stuff, Joe?
Play high-end content. Yeah.
What is that thing? Was it the what's that? The fucking term for that? Occam's razor? Is that right? Is that the right word?
Occam's razor is the easiest explanation tends to be the correct one, essentially.
Right? Is it because that's the blade that cuts you and them? Essentially, right? Right? You can cut somebody, but it's going to cut you. Whatever term that is.
Are you trying to think of Hanlon's razor?
I don't remember. There's a fucking term where like double-edged sword, right? Which is a fucking dumb way of putting it, because like a double-edged sword, you're not grabbing the blade.
Hanlon's razor was never a tribute to malice. What is adequately explained by stupidity?
Occam's razor, is that whatever it's called? Is the one where it's like it cuts you but cuts them too, or something like that, or cuts them and cuts you?
Occam's razor is.
I'm too dumb to know what it is, I think.
Well, this is a more high-end explanation of it, but it's suppose an event has two possible explanations. The explanation that requires the fewest assumptions is usually correct.
Oh, that's what that one is. There's what's the...
It's still essentially what I said. Those are the only... I guess there probably are more. I don't even know how you would search for... If I tried to search for razors, I'd probably just come up with...
Yeah, shick razors and shit.
Shick razors, I was actually thinking of razor laptops and stuff.
Oh, it depends on how you spell it, yeah.
That's a good point. Razor philosophy. Razor, there we go. Philosophical razors. Man, okay. Adler's razor. If something cannot be settled by experiment or observation, then it is not worthy of debate. Einstein's razor. The supreme goal of all theory is to make the irreducible basic elements as simple and as few as possible without having to surrender the adequate representation of a single datum of experience. Let's see, so something that harms both. There's Hanlon's, Hume.
Which is funny because there's a gun in Destiny that everyone really likes, but is shitty because it's called Tommy's Matchbook and it's a Tommy gun, but with sustained trigger pull, because it's an auto rifle, it burns the user.
Nice. So
they toned it down, and if you get the catalyst for it, which again I'll say this, you can't get it unless you play PvP, because you have to have Guardian kills with auto rifle to unlock it. Lessens that damage, but the gun's supposed to be super dope, and I have one, and I've never really used it because it just fucking hurts you too much. It's like you weaken yourself. I'm like, why are we having an exotic that has a negative perk to it?
That's one of those things that you would think would be, because it's so powerful, that would have to have a negative perk.
Like, I don't know of another exotic catalyst,
that powerful, then
or I don't know of another exotic weapon or armor that literally damages or hurts the user. I'm like, this is that. Why? Why would you have that? We're supposed to be having fun here. Why are you making it not fun, but making the gun want to be like, I want to run around with a Tommy gun. You know what I mean? Like, I want to run around with a Tommy gun and shoot fire bullets at people, but I can't because it lights my hands on fire, and that hurts me. And if I'm hurt while I'm in fire in there, and like they're like, well, what you do is you combo it with something that gives you cure or radiant, which then will heal you. I'm like, or don't make a fucking gun that hurts me while I use it.
Right.
Also, I shouldn't be able to blow myself up with a rocket because I'm a fucking god at this point. Like, I should be able to take, like, if someone shoots a rocket at me, if I'm paying PvP, I get it, right? It's gonna hurt me. If I'm running around my fire team and a certain person, I'm not gonna name who it is, Taj, walks in front of me as I shoot a rocket and doesn't hurt him but kills me.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Like, maybe it should drop my health quite a bit, but it shouldn't kill me. But yet it does. Or, God forbid, you're getting ready to shoot a rocket, and all of a sudden some trash mob fucking ad walks right in front of you, blows yourself up. It's like, bro, I know I can regenerate right now, but if I'm playing like high-end content where like there's a certain amount of resurrections I get,
Yeah.
or deaths I can use, that fucking hurts. That takes away from it, you know what I mean?
It does. I can't see any other razors here that would explain what you're saying. The only thing I can think of is maybe it's like a catch-22 or something
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
yeah. I thought there was
It's
a
not
term
quite
for
a
it.
catch-22, but yeah.
But
That would
anyway,
be the
that's
closest
the
thing I
thing,
can
yeah.
think of. Duck test. I didn't read this one earlier. If it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. That's hilarious.
It's true. It's that's a true statement. I've heard that before.
Newton's flaming laser sword. Now, these are just made up at this point.
Yeah, it's like you're
If
on
something
Urban
cannot be
Dictionary.
settled by experiment, it is not worth debating.
Isn't that almost that one you just meant you said earlier?
Yeah, so this is a different list. The first one I was on Wikipedia reading those off, and those seemed like more, like I said, more official, more high end. This is a different one from lifelessons.co. That was like 2 or 3 down.
Oh, the Canadians out here trying to throw in their own terms.
Anyway,
So to answer your question, Joe, I have been playing Destiny more for this for the free stuff. That's free to everyone, not free because I've never played
so
it.
have you paid for the next stuff yet, or are you just going through the free stuff right now?
I held off as long as possible, and then I bought it the other day.
Okay.
Because I've invested over. I don't even want to tell you how long.
I can
Like-
guess, and it's probably going to be wrong.
Well, think about this. So many moons ago, and I had this discussion with a friend of mine. That's not someone you know. I played the original Destiny when it came out because I was a big fan of Halo, and I heard the guys that made Halo were making a new game, so I checked it out, and it was fun as hell. And it was very rudimentary. Back then it was pretty fucking cool, but like, you know, it was like, oh my god, look at all this stuff. And then I played through all the woes of that, or whatever, right? And it wasn't a live service game, so it was just like a base game. Like, you're gonna play this, and that's cool. I loved it. Then they're like, hey, Destiny 2's coming out, and I was like, oh shit, I love Destiny, so why wouldn't I love more? Like, why wouldn't I have 2 times as much, right?
Right.
Like, you know, like, hey, I love Die Hard. Die Hard 2 must be that much better.
Right.
Spoiler, it's not.
No.
Now when you get Die Hard 3 on the other hand, tremendous. Anywho, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this, and I really enjoyed it. And then they're like, hey, we're gonna turn this into a live service game, and I was like, I don't think I enjoy that as much. And then, so I played that, and I played it every day.
Yeah.
If I wasn't playing that, I was like probably playing Division.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the time. It's like, oh, we're not gonna play Division. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go play Destiny because I'm a loser and I don't have a life. So I would play that, and I literally played Destiny 2 for pretty much all of it up until just recently. Like, I didn't miss a single season. I paid way too much money for this fucking game. Whatever, right? So, like, I'm invested in the story. I really want to know where it goes. So I was like, I'm probably just going to buy, like, just the final shape, the base game portion of it, because that's not free. The vanilla Destiny 2 is free. But, like, if you want to play, like, the extra content past that base game, which is definitely handicapped at this point because, to your story about that video, there's a lot of content that they have taken out because of the other seasons that you miss. So you get to play the base game, which is like the Red War stuff. Cool, awesome, fun, right? But then there's a whole lot of story in those first few years of expansion after that you're going to miss completely, like the death of Cade. Because, spoiler alert, which is the dumbest thing in the world, and I don't think I've told you about this, but I'll tell you about it in a minute, is they revealed that he's alive
No, I knew about that. Yeah.
It makes me so fucking mad because they just show it in a tease for the final shape. They're like, "Oh, here's Cade, by the way." I'm like, you couldn't have fucking left that as a fucking secret special for the people playing this fucking game. You put it in your
Like
first
on the
fucking
poster.
trailer.
Yeah, it's like on the splash page poster.
Yeah,
You're like,
I was
oh,
like-
that's Cade right there.
I was like, you, after all the fucking things you did to us with killing him off and us not being able to fucking kill the bitch behind it all, and then bringing back his killer as a fucking friend of ours, and then you motherfuckers build a goddamn memorial for him in the game, in the tower you can go visit. You bring him back, but instead of leaving it a secret and like a cool fucking thing for you to discover when you first play the game, you put it in your first fucking tease for the final year. And I was like, at that point is like where it broke me, and I was like, I'm done playing Destiny right now. Because it's boring, because you keep putting in these events where I need people to play with me, to do these things, to get the cool stuff, to play the rest of the game. That's shitty enough you've done to me for years now. But then you take one of my favorite all-time characters from your game, you kill him, which fine, it was years ago, whatever, I sort of over it, and then you don't even tease that he's coming back, you just show he's fucking back.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It ruins
if you would have just had a silhouette by a fire, and then the camera pans around and you see the Ace of Spades, which is his gun, I'd been like, what the fuck? Is he back? Like, what's going on? Like, who's got that gun? Then you could, like, tease me and say, like, someone has it, blah, blah, blah. And then I could find out in the game that he's back. And I'm like, that's cool. Did you do that? No. You shit on the fandom. And I was like, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But I am back.
It's not great.
I did buy the new expansion. Pre-ordered it so I can get the one gun, which they're probably just going to give you anyways eventually down the line. And the cool sparrow and the cool ship. Or no, sparrow? Is there a sparrow? No, it's just a ship, right? Ship, gun. You get some other stuff when the game launches. You get some extra stuff. You get a ghost. You get a couple emblems. And you get a emote, which is like you floating in the air with a pyramid behind you. And then obviously you get the season. If you get the one with the season pass, which I told Taj, like, hey, you don't have to, but like, if you want to save yourself some money down the line, if you're gonna play all of them, do it, because otherwise it costs more money when you don't, I believe. So yeah, I'm a fucking sucker, and I bought it just because I want to finish the story. And the new subclass they're introducing in it, called Prismatic, seems pretty dope. But I have a feeling I'm gonna hate it in a way too, because I think they're locking it to. So Prismatic, not to fucking go into more detail about this because we're wrapping up here, but Prismatic is a new subclass you can get. It's a new darkness subclass, but it will mix certain abilities from subclasses together, so you get like a certain type of grenade or whatever, right? But you don't get to pick the ones you get. They're gonna they set those already, so the grenade you get is already two different subclass grenades that alternate as you use them. And I'm like, that's cool. You probably have a reason for this because it's like a cool combo. But then you're also limiting what your builds are gonna be, because you build your build around your abilities. And if your abilities change and are set to where you can't change those, then how do you build around it?
Yeah.
So anyways, but yes, I did get it, and I will be playing it. We'll see.
Okay.
But I'm excited because it has new content, real new content, not just like, hey, content, like it's got new content.
Right.
So I will be playing it, and I think I'll be enjoying it.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. But did you see they announced Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming to Game Pass day one?
No, but I'm not surprised, because probably by whenever time that it releases, because I think they said by the end of the year is when they were going to drop all of the Call of Duties.
Yeah, I think it's gonna like be like Christmas time, but like by this time in November, October, whenever Black Ops finally drops, it'll be day one, so you can play the game as is, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, blah blah blah. I'm like, you know what's gonna happen? Like, it's not. They're not pulling it from PlayStation. I mean, they're, you can still get it on there if you're gonna. It's not like you could have got it for free on PlayStation if Xbox didn't own it. You're still gonna pay $60 to play a game you shouldn't be paying $60 for, because it's definitely not a $60 worth of game.
Yeah.
But if you're smart and you have PC and or Xbox and you have Game Pass, you can definitely get your money's worth by not having to pay $60 for a game that's arguably may not be a full game in general, but
Yeah, depending on how long the storyline is.
yeah. But I'll definitely get it on Game Pass, because like I don't actually pay any extra, and I'm already getting all the other games. Like
Like I said before, I would rather get them on Game Pass because I know that they are, at least the newer ones, the remake ones, which I would like to play, don't have the full stories to go along with it. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to pay full price for something that is half a game.
Exactly.
I will play. Actually, it's not even half a game. It'd be like more like a quarter of a game, because half the game is single player and then the other half of the game is multiplayer. But if I'm not really playing the multiplayer and you only gave me half of the, Anyway,
Anywho's what's it? This has been this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I have been a Cody. A Cody?
Cody. You have been a Cody.
I have been a Cody. More a Cody than normal. And as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.